This neurosurgeon walks in. He had the worst bedside manner I've ever seen in my whole life, and I have met a lot of terrible doctors, but he had by far the worst bedside manner. He walks into his room. I had been waiting over an hour for him. Walks into the room. He had one of those lights on one of his walls that you can put up images and they're backlit. Put up my images, and he just looks at them. Doesn't say hello to me. Just looks at the images. Looks at the images. I believe you have a tumor on your spine, but it could be a cyst. I don't really know. I really think it could be a cyst, so we're gonna aspirate it, but if it's a tumor, you're definitely gonna have a gimp leg, and if you don't have a gimp leg, you might be fully paralyzed. I don't really know. Actually, I'm looking at you, so I'm giving him more credit than he deserves because he wasn't even looking at me. He's just looking at the images like this. Talking to this very young woman, telling her this life-altering news, not even looking her in the eye, me, and just staring at the things. He then surmised that he was going to send me for an aspiration of my cyst that he wasn't even certain was actually a cyst, but he was just going to give it a try. So a week later, we go to the hospital for an aspiration of my spinal cyst, which was not actually a cyst. I go into the aspiration. I end up waking up during this aspiration of my cyst, and I'm like muffled, but I can hear them saying and realizing that it wasn't a cyst. The one doctor said, oh, it might be endometriosis. I don't really know what it could be, but it's definitely not a cyst. I am in extreme pain, but I'm under enough that I can't speak it or move. So they then obviously stopped the aspiration of the cyst that's not a cyst early, put me back into post-ops. My husband's there wondering what the heck just happened. Thank God the nurse there was an angel among us, and she was so kind to both of us. I'll never forget her kindness. We were back to the drawing board. We were back to square one. We had a follow-up appointment with the neurosurgeon about a week after that, and he then declared that it was indeed a tumor. He had ruled out the fact that it was a cyst because he had tried to aspirate said cyst and it wasn't a cyst. Mind you, he wasn't even there for the aspiration. I know that you might be watching this and you're probably getting very annoyed. Unfortunately, I have to tell you that this is how most medical scenarios are diagnosed these days. This is just how it goes, and unless you continue to fight for your life with every fiber of your being, you will never get the answers that you need, the answers that you deserve. This is why I am so deeply, wildly passionate about patient advocacy. I could go on and on and on. I could give 80 million TED Talks about this forever. I just want you to keep going, because if I hadn't kept going, I would not be here. I would not have the beautiful life that I have, the beautiful life that I love. I'm begging you to keep going.